So are we finally going to be getting the Thunderbolts in the MCU? Well, if everything turns out true and all the rumors are true, probably. Okay, so what exactly is the Thunderbolts? Well, to give you the layman's quick version of the Thunderbolts, they're Marvel's Suicide Squad, essentially. They're the villains that are looking for some sort of redemption, that are on a mission that's larger than them being villains. So automatically right there, you have a pretty compelling story, I would say. And there's already quite a few characters in the MCU that fit the bill. Now, let's go over what I would say is a lot of the stuff I've heard and a lot of the stuff that's been said and kind of examine it from every angle. So first and foremost, Abomination. I know I've talked about it on Twitter and I've teased it. I've heard that they're definitely planning to bring Abomination back in some sort of manner. Now, what this is, I don't know, but they said that they do have an idea for that character and that he could show up somewhere down the road in a more prominent role. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's extended cameo just to close his story to what happened to him. Maybe it's that, he's still out there somewhere with the leader. Abomination was mentioned on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so it would make sense. Now, in recent Marvel history, we've had quite a few villains actually survive. We've had Zemo. He survived. He's still out there. We've had someone like Ghost recently in Ant-Man and the Wasp. She survived, and she was a member of the Thunderbolts before. So if you start piecing together some of these characters that have survived, you kind of start to see how you could do the Thunderbolts. Now, Thunderbolts, of course, they could already be sort of a formation as a result of Thunderbolt Ross, hence the Thunderbolts, coming in there and forming his own group. And he tried to before, but it didn't work out because of the whole consultant thing, right? If you guys watched, the one shot and then the end of The Incredible Hulk, he wanted Blonsky, but they didn't want him because he controls Blonsky, right? So in that kind of way, imagine if he sees the opportunities, like, look, maybe the Avengers were right, because if we would have had to sit around as a committee when Thanos invaded, things would have been a lot worse. So maybe he goes on and makes his own Thunderbolts team. It's like a low version of the Avengers. They don't have to do anything. They don't have to speak to anybody. He's kind of running it as a Black Ops for the government. That would make a lot of sense. And if you really think about it that way, the Thunderbolts go all the way back to the beginning of 2010. When James Gunn originally came to the MCU and he started pitching ideas for movies, Guardians was the second on his list. He went in to meet with them with a treatment of how he would do the Thunderbolts. And they said, look, if the Guardians are successful, and if that franchise takes off, we're going to talk about the Thunderbolts. Now, wouldn't it make a lot of sense to you guys that if you're going into different genres and different directions, why not look at the Thunderbolts as a great opportunity? The Suicide Squad already was huge success. Marvel has plenty of villains now they could use. You could bring in a villain like Mordo. I mean, that's a magician right there. Doctor Strange has already had a few extensive roles in other movies to expand on what he's been doing. Why not throw Mordo into something like Doctor Strange's, obviously, sequel, but also into the Thunderbolts and establish him as also someone who's working with some shady people? Honestly, I think it's going to happen. Just looking at all the articles and things they've been teasing about how the MCU is going to change in the future and they're doing movies a lot of people aren't expecting, I think it's all set up. And sooner or later, in Phase 4 or 5, we're probably going to get the Thunderbolts because they're definitely laying the groundworks for it. Now, who's part of the team, remains to be seen, but like I've said, I've heard personally from 2 different sources that something is happening with Abomination. Take that for what you will.